Pray with me. O God, our Alpha and our Omega, we are your children. We are children of light and life. May our footsteps follow your Son, that we might share grace and truth in the world. Amen. Please be seated. Merry Christmas. This Sunday morning, we get the wonderful opportunity to celebrate the first Sunday of Christmastide. But we also get to celebrate that this is the last Sunday of 2018. We are getting ready to turn our lives and our hearts and our minds towards a new year, 2019. And in America and in our culture here, that idea of a new year brings all sorts of hope, doesn't it? A fresh start, a new year, something new to do. And we have this tradition. I don't know if it's a worldwide tradition, but I know that it's something we do here in the United States called New Year's resolutions. A little giggle. Now, honest. Can you guys be honest with me? I'll be honest with you. Have any of you ever made a New Year's resolution? I had a fair few, okay. Any of you been able to keep some of those resolutions throughout the entire year? Excellent. Any of you maybe gotten a month or two in and had to abandon ship? Yes, indeed. There's this sense when we make a resolution that we are this person here, and we want to be someone else. I am not as fit as I would like to be. I would like to be a person that is fit and healthy. I am not as biblically literate as I would like to be, and by the end of the year, I would like to be a biblical scholar. Maybe an extra year or two tacked onto that. I am not intentional in my work life. I let it invade my whole life, and by the end of this year, I want to be intentional about the divide between my work life and my personal life so that I can honor my family. You see, there's this real sense when we make a resolution that we are one place, one thing, and we want to become something different. Well, this last week at the Skinner household, I've been thinking a lot about that, mainly because we've had family in town. Our family from Brooklyn has been here, and my brother and his girlfriend from Seattle have also been in town, and so we've been talking a lot about the new year and about starting fresh. Any of you that are on the Daughters of the King prayer list know that my brother has not been in good health over the last probably 18 months. In fact, most recently when he was on vacation in Mexico, he ended up in ICU. And so was able to finally get stable and get back to Seattle. But once he was home, he again ended up in the hospital. And so thanks to your prayers and to really excellent medical care in both Mexico and Seattle, he was well enough to travel with us to come for Christmas. But over the last week, we've been visiting a little bit about what his life going forward means. Because if Jonah is going to continue to walk on this planet with the living, he's going to have to change his life literally from top to bottom. He's going to have to change the way he works. He travels about 75% of the time. That's no longer an option for him with his chronic condition. He's going to have to change the way he eats, the way he exercises. Even the way they do their family time is going to have to change. And so when I've been visiting with Jonah, I was struck by the way he was talking about these changes he was supposed to make in his life. You see, rather than saying, I need to be a different person, he said, you know, I already am an outdoorsman. It's why I loved Boy Scouts. It's why I moved to Seattle, because I can be outside more. It's why I ride my bike. I already am someone that is active. I just need to be more of that. I already love to cook, and that's something we do as a family. I just need to be more mindful about what I'm cooking. The way he was talking about the changes that needed to happen in his life sparked something in me. and reflected something that I think is at the heart of our gospel this morning in this beautiful introduction to Jesus that John has written. You see, John talks about the law in this morning's gospel. And he talks about it as a gift that God gave God's people. Boundaries. We needed boundaries. We needed to know what was okay and what was not okay. And so God gave us the law, those 10 things. That should be simple enough, right? Maybe not. And said, if you do these things, then you will be righteous in my sight. And we know from history and from our scriptures that over and over and over and over again, the Israelites tried desperately to do those things so that they might be counted faithful. And what happened? Oh, let's try again. Oh, not quite. Over and over again, they fell short of the law. And then this amazing thing happens. Born of a woman, Jesus comes into the world. And this is where it shifts. Look at verse 12 of your gospel. But to all who received him, talking about Jesus here, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, or of the will of flesh, or of the will of man, but of God. You see, John sees that something happens when Christ comes. Christ is born out of the law, but takes it one step further. And you and I become children of God, not because we're blood relatives of Mary or Joseph. We become children of God not through anything we can do in our bodies. We become children of God not because of anything our will desires. We become children of God because God warrants it to be so. God sends his Son that if we accept and believe, we are children of God. We are children of God. We accept Christ in our baptism. And this Sunday morning, you show your faith and belief by coming together and sharing the sacraments. Every time we gather together for worship, every time we gather together in prayer, we answer that call to accept Christ and to be believers. And so you and I are children of God. We are children of light and life. So think about that shift. We don't need to become something. We already are. We already are children of grace. We already are children of light and truth. We already are forgiven. Do you see how that can completely change the way you look about making differences in your life? I don't need to be a different person. I don't need to be fundamentally changed. That has already happened. My DNA, your DNA, in our baptism is changed. We are marked as Christ's own forever. We are children of light. So, when I approach the world, when I approach a relationship that is broken, that needs healing, think of what that allows me to do as a child of light. I can go to someone and say, I have failed you. I have not lived as God would want me to live. I have let you down. And I can do that without shame because my failure is not a reflection of who I am inside. It's a reflection of the fact that I'm human and we make mistakes. And so I can go to someone who I have wronged and lay it out and say, I want to honor God's love in our relationship, whether that's a friendship, a marriage, brother, sister, parent, You see, I am a child of God. You are a child of God. Let us go forth as such. See, it changes the way also we do forgiveness, because we can offer forgiveness to someone even if they don't ask for it, because that's what children of the light and life do, because we have been given forgiveness. I can offer forgiveness because I know how fundamentally that can change my life. I can also offer grace to someone because I know, as a child of life and light, what it feels like to have grace extended into my life. I can walk into the world, into those dark, frightening, fearful places, and shine God's light because I know how much that light has illuminated my life. And so this morning, as we start to walk into 2019, I offer a challenge to us, both you and I, that rather than think of things I want to change in 2019 to become someone different, let us resolve to be more of who we really are. Let us resolve to be more children of truth, to be more children of light and darkness, more children of grace and life, so that we may reflect in this world what we know to be true in our very bones. Amen.